All right, Carl and Kayla are making 2 snack mixes. By mixing dried fruit and nuts, the amounts of protein, carbs, and fat in grams per serving for the dried fruit and the nuts are given in Table 1. So let's look at that. Here's Table 1. We've got dried fruit and nuts along the top, protein, carbs, and fat along here. So they've organized it into a nice table. It's all labeled for us.
Does that mean it's a 2x3?
Okay, it's not a matrix yet. The number of servings of dried fruit and nuts in each mix is given in Table 2. So this is giving us a ratio. So in what they're calling the sports mix, there's 4 parts dried fruit to 2 parts nuts. That means there's twice as much fruit as there are nuts.
That's correct.
Okay, it's going together. All right, in the camp mix, they have equal amounts, 3 to 3. All right, so this is giving us, and we can use all of this. If you are packaging this to sell in your store, and some of the grocery stores do this, they'll buy bulk stuff, they'll mix it, and then they price it accordingly, or they will make the little nutrition facts labels. You're wondering how that comes about? We're going to use matrices to do it, okay? Usually they're bigger than this. We're going to use small examples. So down here on A, it says represent the information from Table 1 in a matrix called N. So over here to the side, we're going to do N equals, and I'm going to keep the numbers just like they are in the table. A matrix is kind of like a table, but there's no labels, there's no lines on the inside.
Busting rhymes over there.
So like Cameron said, this would end up being a 3x2 if you wanted to label the size of that, which will be important to know in a minute. So it becomes a 3x2 matrix. So with matrices, you sort of take off the labels and you have to remember from over here what everything was. Okay? We take off the labels and then we can do math with it because tables are just something to hold information. Well, this is actually something we use in math. And then it says represent the information from Table 2 in a matrix called G. So I'm going to have G here, and I'm just going to go, okay, 4, 3, 2, 3, and so this would be a 2x2 matrix. So that's all of Part A, is just making the matrices.
You're off the screen, that's a little more.
I'm sorry. Here you go. I'm on the screen now. All right. All right, find the product in G. This is important. If it says in G, that means N's on the left and G's on the right. This matrix on the left, this matrix on the right. GN would be something different. You would get different answers. Sometimes one's possible, the other's not. Multiplication with matrices is not commutative. You cannot switch the order that you're multiplying. So if it says in G, we have to do it in the order that it says. Okay, so we're going to keep track of all of that. So to start with, this is a 3x2, this is a 2x2. Is the multiplication possible?
Yeah.
How do we know?
2, 2.
Okay, so this 2 with this 2 are the same, so it is possible. So we know that multiplication is possible. If it weren't, we just stop and say, sorry, it's undefined. And then how big is my answer going to be? What size is the matrix? So we use this number and this number. So the answer is a 3x2. So we can set up a 3x2 matrix down here. I'm going to set up the one for work first, and then we'll get the answer in a second. All right? So we're going to multiply. So let's think about what we're multiplying. This 3 and this 20 in the first row is dried fruit and nuts. This is the amount of protein in both. This is protein for the dried fruit, protein for the nuts. And then if I look here, this 4 is how much dried fruit we have, how many servings. And then the nuts. So I'm actually taking the protein for the dried fruit times how much dried fruit, and adding the protein from the nuts times how much nuts we're putting in. So we're doing a whole bunch of important math all in one big matrix-y step. So 3 times 4 is 12.
40.
2 times 2 is 40. And then if you wanted to go ahead and put the answer down here, except I didn't make it big enough.
I don't want to be that guy, but I feel as if
all right.
my legs.
So this would be 52. Come on, guys. All right. So this number right here, basically, if we think about what we just did, is the amount of protein that we got from the dried fruit. Anyway, we'll go over that in a second. Let's just do the next part. So we're going to use the same top row, go to the second column. So we're going to have 3 times 3, which is 9. I'm just going to write down 9. And add 20 times 3, which is 60. You do get 69.
Hey, we're recording. Let's go.
We are.
We were just observing that number is unique.
All right, for the next line, we have 65 times 4,
That's a big number.
which is 260. So we have 260. 21 times 2 is 42. So if we add that up, that is 302. So I'll put the answer down here. 65 times 3 is 195. 21 times 3 is 63. 195 plus 63
158.
is 258.
258.
Good job.
All right.